What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. In this one, you join me in a little DR400 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We are flying just sort of southwest of Perth in Scotland. The reason we're doing it is because I've actually been flying there today, doing some flying on a PA-28, renewing my single engine piston rating. Which has lapsed, which means I basically can't fly these things, even though I could fly airliners for the last 6 years. I'm not actually allowed to fly any single-engine piston aircraft because my license has lapsed. So I am now renewing that. Today, I thought it would be great to use Microsoft Flight Simulator to demonstrate how you do a practice forced landing for training. Well, in our case, it's actually going to be a proper forced landing because we'll actually shut down the engine. Obviously, for a lot of you guys that are doing private pilot license, or perhaps even, you know, further on becoming a commercial pilot, or even if you're a military pilot starting out, obviously you're going to be in the same position. You're going to be flying a single engine propeller airplane at some point, and you will have to practice a forced landing into a field, or perhaps not a field, wherever you can, I suppose. Depends where the engine fails, right? So, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 now, as you could see, it is so realistic. I mean, it's literally the real fields. Yeah, perhaps not the real crops that grow in them in real life, but still, I mean, this is the real thing in a simulator. So you can actually realistically practice this sort of stuff that you could never do before with any flight simulator prior, really. Anyway, today I thought we'll go over practice forced landings and see how it's done.
We have 2 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect the headset. We'll see you on the left with the pin. Thanks a lot.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. We're just sort of west of Perth City, and we're flying along here, and all of a sudden we're going to have an engine failure. Now in real life, obviously you just bring the throttle back, but we are going to kill the mixture and pretend that it is actually a proper failure, right? So first thing we're going to do is we are going to pick a field. Before you start diagnosing the problem with your engine, first of all, what are we looking for? Well, first thing is you want to be landing into wind, right? Wind is from the west, so out towards that little lake over there. That's roughly west. And you want to pick something that's relatively long, that's relatively flat, and that isn't brown, because brown fields are usually dug up. Now we're setting best glide speed. First of all, we're going to assume it's about 65 to 70 knots in this airplane. It might be a little bit different, but for the sake of our little practice session here, we're going to do that. Now there's actually a pretty good field here. Now a wheat field is okay, but a brown field is not okay. So obviously a grass field would do quite nicely. So this one right here, this yellowish one underneath, is not too bad, but maybe just keep having a look around and see if you see anything better. Obviously down that way they look quite small and quite hilly, so you don't want to go there. Down this side, oh, there's a nice grass field over there. Would that be into, that's almost into wind. Yeah, that's a nice field. Okay, so I did have an option for one that's just underneath my wing here, but actually I think I'm going to go with this grass field just to the right hand side. It's maybe, yeah, we could probably come into wind there as well, so that should work out quite nicely. Okay, so once you've done that, you start figuring out what your problem is. So you'll probably have a look at the mixture, you'll have a look at your magnetos, your ignition, your fuel pump, your fuel selector potentially, and if that all checks out, you know, you might try and restart the engine. Obviously it doesn't work, then you do the mayday call. So in our case it'd be Golf Delta Mike, mayday, 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 engine failure. And if you want to give them some more information, you obviously can, you don't have to. And yeah, so this just off the wingtip right now, you see a nice little sort of semi-triangular field, but it should give us a lot of space to come in for a nice little landing there into wind. That's always good to have a plan B as well. If that you think that's not going to work out, then you know what else can you use There's a few fields around here, but I think this one's actually going to work quite nicely. We're going to come in from this side where the trees are, and that'll be pretty much in to the west. Now, you don't have to land exactly parallel to how the field is, located. You can actually come in at a bit of an angle. That's absolutely fine. Now, obviously, if it's got a particular pattern, it's probably best to follow the pattern of how it's plowed, but actually in our case I see we might be a little bit landing kind of across the pattern, but that's fine. Let's get the flaps, do a little side slip from where these trees are. Yeah, this should work out quite nicely. Just come in here, keep it side slipping, keep it side slipping, keep it side slipping. Route it up, and lots of space here, so nice smooth touchdown on the brakes, and there we are. We made it. So yeah, that's it really. I mean, it's amazing now in Microsoft Flight Simulator you can actually practice picking out a good field to land on. That's it from me, ladies and gentlemen, for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please smash the living daylight out of the like button and subscribe for future videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.